Hello and welcome to another episode of the Sal Licata Show podcast, available on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe, download, rate, like, all those different things. Comment. We'll have some fun interacting with you with the comments. And if you don't like us, you can comment, I suck, and keep it moving. That's fine too. Just a little programming note, if you're listening to this on Wednesday as the morning that we release it, 8 p.m. Wednesday night, BT will be joining me live on my YouTube channel. So we'll be streaming live, 8 p.m. BT and I have some fun talking some sports, getting the Mets, Yankees, all those things. Speaking of the Yankees, we did a lot of the Mets yesterday, but I wanted to get to the Yankees today. And in particular, with Giancarlo Stanton, the idea that he's going to be playing the outfield. When will the Yankees learn? Giancarlo Stanton is not an outfielder. He barely can play. It makes no sense. I hated the move when the Yankees got him after the 2017 season. Yankees go for the Game 7 of the ALCS against the cheating Astros, and they go in the offseason, and their big move was adding Giancarlo Stanton, who just won an MVP with the Marlins, 59 home runs, and ridiculous amount of ribbies, and all that stuff, and was actually playing the field at that point. I thought the move then was redundant. Adding another big, hulking, right-handed bat who plays right field along with Aaron Judge didn't make any sense. The Yankees went all in on Stanton, and his best year with the Yankees was his first year. It has been downhill since with Giancarlo Stanton, to a point where the way the ball club has been built, Stanton has been a roadblock for years because you can't bring in anybody else because of the contract, because of the position, meaning DH is log jammed. You can't rest certain guys. It never made any sense. BT and I, as a matter of fact, would fight about this quite a bit. Or not, we would fight about it. We would be on the same side fighting off people about this. The Yankees should move on from Giancarlo Stanton. That's for years. And here's another example why, heading into the 2026 season, they're still talking about having Stanton play the outfield. The guy has played just over 200 games in the outfield in 8 years with the Yankees. He can't do it. So they could talk about it saying, oh, it's going to keep him fresh. It's going to keep him healthy, all those different things. Oh, we like Stanton in the outfield. Get Judge off his feet, which is the right idea. You don't want Judge, as he continues to get older, playing in the outfield every single day. You want him to get some at-bats at DH, and you need to keep his bat in the lineup. So how are you going to have both Stanton's bat and Judge's bat in the lineup? Well, we'll have Stanton play the outfield. Problem is he can't do it. He can't do it. It's not going to keep him healthy. We've been down this road before. So I don't understand what the infatuation is with Giancarlo Stanton. The Yankees should move on from Giancarlo Stanton. And the idea that he's some great Yankee. Now, the one thing that I do like about Stanton, he's accountable, he's upfront, he's open, all those different, honest. I think he's a good leader. Obviously, Judge is the captain, but I think Stanton is right, alongside him as being a good veteran leader in that clubhouse and a good attitude in New York. Fans boo him. What does he say? I deserve to be booed. That's okay. Strike out 5 times, whatever it may be. They should get on me. So I like his mindset and attitude. And obviously, his bat has played in the postseason before, and he's hit some monstrous home runs. Nobody's knocking that. But overall, look at what he's done since he's been a Yankee. Three of his 8 seasons, he has hit more than 30 home runs. One was the first year after they got him from the Marlins when they won the MVP. Now, that's 30 home runs or more in 3 seasons out of 8. He had 59 before the Yankees got him. He has been nowhere near, not even close to the player that he was when they acquired him from the Marlins. Not even close. He's like, Stanton can't run. He can't field. He can't stay healthy. So then you would say, well, okay, what does he do? Well, obviously, he hits with power, right? Well, not if he's only had 3 seasons of 30 home runs or more, and not if he's had 1 year where he's driven in 100 runs with the Yankees. That's it. One year where he's had 100 RBI on the button. And again, that was the first season with the Yankees in 2018. So Giancarlo Stanton, to me, has been a big problem. Not that he's a bad guy, not that he's an awful, useless player, but he cripples what you want to do as far as flexibility, versatility in the lineup. And on top of that, he just has not been the offensive performer that he once was. That's a problem. And the Yankees just keep running it back with him. And they keep thinking it's going to be, the definition of insanity. I hate this because people use it all the time. The definition of insanity, saying the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, or doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That's what the Yankees are doing with Stanton. It's every year. They're doing the same thing and they're expecting a different result. They should have tried to move on from Stanton a long time ago, get ahead of the curve with that and realize, you know what? This guy can't run. He can't play the field. He's clogging up the DH spot. We're going to need that with Aaron Judge. Everybody gets on the Mets saying that they got multiple DHs. Well, Juan Soto can't play the field. He's going to be a DH. Yeah, what do you think the Yankees have been doing for, 7 years with Giancarlo Stanton? That's exactly what it's been, clogging up that DH spot. And it'd be okay if he were hitting 35 home runs and driving in over 100 runs every year. Obviously, that has not been the case with Stanton, and that's a big issue as well. So just the idea that the Yankees would, A, run it back, and then B, think that Stanton's going to play the outfield, it just makes no sense whatsoever. And it shows you sometimes the foolishness, the thought process of everybody involved in the Yankees' decision-making, the hierarchy, whatever it may be, thinking that, okay, well, we got him, we're going to try to play him in the outfield because you don't want to just have Judge out there every single day. Now, what does that mean for Jason Dominguez if you're going to have Giancarlo Stanton play in the outfield? What are they doing with him? This is another issue that we've had, and we talked about it last year when I was on the fan with BT. Him and I did get into an argument about this, talking about Dominguez. I was saying they should send him down to the minors. He was saying keep him up here, and he was talking about moving him to center field. Obviously, he's not playing center field because he can't play center field. I mean, he can't play center. If he can't even play left, let alone center. Guys that have issues in left field aren't a good center fielder. So Dominguez, should I call him Dominguez or should I call him the Martian? Or should I call him the Martian or should I call him Mickey Mantle? Which one is it? Is it Mickey or is it the Martian? Either way, he's nothing close to what he was supposed to be. And I think a big part of that is not just him not having the ability, because we've seen some potential. The light tower power in all of his, 12 home runs that he hit last year. Meanwhile, he had 3 homer games. So of those 12, he really only impacted 10 games with a home run, because the other 2, he hit 3 homers in each, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, that light tower power wasn't there nearly often enough. And now I think a bigger issue with Dominguez, because he's got the tools, right? He's got the speed, he's got the athleticism, not good defensively, as we said, but I don't know, I can't excuse the lack of power. That's got to be better, and it just wasn't there for him. But a part of the issue from me is that they are not developing their young players right. It's not just Dominguez. It's Volpe as well. They've done it with both those guys. Volpe, years ago, they should have sent him down. All right, he won the job in spring training. Great. When he comes up and he's struggling and he's not the player that you expected him to be, what's the harm in sending him down to try to get him right? They keep him up, try to let him work his way out of it, and he never has. He hasn't. Period. End of story. Boone or everybody else can tell me about the Gold Gloves and all this and how good defensively he is. Anthony Volpe is nowhere near what he was supposed to be as a prospect. And that, I believe, is because the Yankees didn't develop him the right way. Now you fast forward to Dominguez, it's the same friggin' thing. Jason Dominguez should be in the minor leagues playing every day. Not because he sucks and can't cut it in the big leagues. It's okay to be in the minors. It's because you want him to develop properly. Take the Mets, for example. Francisco Alvarez a year ago. He came back from injury. He wasn't hitting. What'd they do? Ride it out or send him down? I'm going with option B. They sent him down, as you should, and he took it like a man. You know what? I needed to go down and work on my game. He came up. He was better off for it. This has happened forever in Major League Baseball, where guys that have high expectations, or even guys that are veteran players, whatever it may be, that aren't getting the job done, hey, you maybe should consider going down to the minors for a stint, and then you go down there and get yourself right. It's not a knock on Volpe, or in this case, Dominguez, to say, we're going to put you back down to the minors. We want you to play every day and get yourself ready so that when we do bring you up, you can be what we expected you to be. Whether it's in left field every day, whether it's a little DH, whatever it may be, they turned him into a fourth outfielder instead of developing what was supposed to be a star in the minor leagues. So to me, it would make no sense whatsoever to have him up here off the bench as a fourth outfielder. And they're loaded, I'm sorry, with Grisham, with Bellinger, with Judge in the outfield. What are you going to do? And then Stanton, although Stanton's going to get hurt, so it's a matter of time. And usually, like as we record this on February 18th, these things work themselves out. I mean, who knows? Injuries could happen or whatever, and then these things work themselves out, and it's a non-issue. So I wouldn't worry about playing time for Dominguez. What I would worry about is developing him properly. That's what I'd worry about. He's going to get playing time, whether it's in the minor leagues or whether it's in the big leagues. I don't think, though, having him up here in the big leagues as a fourth outfielder is best for his development. Does that make sense to anybody? How does that make sense to anybody? And what, because he could contribute and steal some bases or maybe hit 260? I mean, that's a big deal. The guy who was supposed to be Mickey Mantle? I didn't say that. Everybody else did. Mickey Mantle, Martian, all that stuff. That's not me. That's what everybody's saying about Dominguez. And then he comes up here and you see what you've seen. But I think it's less on him, the individual, and more on the Yankees not developing him properly. And they've had a pattern of this before. And now the next guy, Spencer Jones. Yeah, Spencer Jones is going to be the answer. The Yankees needed to clean up a little bit of that glut that they have. And instead, bringing back Bellinger, we know the right move. They had to do that. But then instead, they offer Grisham the qualifying offer, which he accepts, and they say great value for Grisham. Okay, maybe so. But now what does that do to the growth of Jason Dominguez? And there's just no room at the in for him. There's no room. I mean, that's it. Outside of injury, where's Dominguez going to play every day? Which to me means he should be in the minor leagues. Even if there's some issue with Stanton, and let's assume that there is no issue with Stanton, says he's feeling healthy and all that stuff, at least for now, why not start Dominguez in the minors? And why would that be a bad thing? It wouldn't. And look, with all this being said, nitpicking the Yankees, and we could do the same thing for Cam Schlittler as well. Like, there's this idea in New York that both Nolan McLean and Cam Schlittler are going to be lights out studs. Now, based on what we saw a year ago, that would be the expectation, the rightful expectation, okay? Schlittler was a stud in the postseason. McLean was a stud for his 8 starts when he came up. Schlittler obviously was good before that too, but really turned into a stud in the postseason. Because before that, he was a power pitcher, but primarily a 5 or 6 inning pitcher. So the Yankees let the reins off a little bit as we got into the playoffs. But both those guys have a lot to prove in year number 2. There's no guarantee that McLean's going to be some stud future ace. There's no guarantee that Cam Schlittler's going to be some lights out, replica of Roger Clemens with the Yankees. Maybe, but there's no guarantee. Said the same thing about Luis Gil 2 years ago. Oh, Gil, Rookie of the Year, Doc Good in 1985. And then last year, it's, this guy stinks. Like, no, you got to expect that there's going to be inconsistencies. And that's what separates good or potential from greatness, is consistency. It's impossible for Schlittler to be consistent because he's had 1 year so far. That's why before we put him in the Hall of Fame and compare him to Roger Clemens, maybe we should see it for year 2. Or Luis Gil, before we compare him to Doc Gooden 85 in 1 year, maybe we should see him for a full season or 2 full seasons. Noel McLean, before we compare him to whoever they're comparing him to, maybe we should see him for more than 8 big league starts. So, point is, you could nitpick all these things with the Yankees and talk about Stanton and the flexibility, or Dominguez, or even is Schlittler going to be as dominant? Is the staff going to be healthy? And I think their staff is going to be fine. If not the best in baseball, maybe the second best in baseball behind the Dodgers. The Yankees are still a great team. And I would fully expect that the Yankees are going to be one of the best teams in the American League. I mean, think of the odds. We were doing this yesterday on SNY, where they had the odds to win the World Series this year. Dodgers are absurd favorites. Like, I would never bet that. Plus 200 before the season even gets started. I know they've won 2 in a row, but I mean, come on. You know how hard it is? They barely beat the Padres 2 years ago in the first round. They barely beat the Blue Jays in the World Series last year. So, yeah, okay, they won, and I'm not taking away anything, but they were this close to being eliminated each of those 2 years and not winning. And they got over the hump, and they won the back-to-back World Series. Are they going to win a third? Maybe. I mean, their team on paper is loaded, but hard to win 1, let alone 3 straight. So I would never touch that. And right behind not right behind the Dodgers, a distant second, the Yankees are the second favorite to win the World Series. And that's not surprising. I think the Mets are right behind them with the Mariners. The Yankees are like plus 1,000. The Mets and Mariners are plus 1,300, something like that. So, I mean, you take that if you're the Yankees going into the year. And I agree with that. I thought the Yankees were better than Toronto last year. Even what went down in the regular season, I thought in the postseason the Yankees would beat them. Even what went down the first 2 games in Toronto, I still believe the Yankees were going to win that series after they won Game 3. I was proven wrong. But I could understand the thought process again. If I had that thought last year, why wouldn't I believe that it could change this year if the Yankees are better in the regular season, which they expect to be, because their team is not the way that it was all last year. It's post-trade deadline last year. They made some acquisitions, getting Cole back, obviously. Another full year of some of these guys who only performed there a half year. They should theoretically be better. I don't think the Blue Jays got significantly better. Losing Bo Bichette, even though he was hurt a lot of the year last year, bringing in Dylan Cease, I don't love. Maybe the Blue Jays are better. Maybe they're just as good. But even as good as they were a year ago, and as much as we criticize the Yankees, they each still won 94 games. So it's not like the Blue Jays were that much better than the Yankees anyway. So I would take my chances. Could the Mariners beat the Yanks in a postseason series? Sure. Could the Tigers beat the Yankees? Sure. I mean, Toronto, Boston, they're going to be dangerous. But right now going in, if you had to bet your life on it, I would bet, if I had to bet my gun to your head, if I had a gun in my head, I'd take the Yankees to prevail in the American League over the other teams. Even though I know what I saw last year, I still believe And even though with all the nitpicking and the offseason stuff, I still believe the Yankees are better than those other teams, and I would take my chances with them. I just wish that they had a little bit more balance and realize that they can build a team that could have better success in the postseason, like having a true leadoff hitter, not a one-off aberration like Trent Grisham, somebody that could put the bat on the ball in front of Aaron Judge, maybe a little bit better defensively, maybe fewer strikeouts, fewer all-or-nothing guys like Jazz. Instead of Jazz, great numbers and extreme athleticism and 30-30 guy, which is great, but the Yankees don't need that. They have plenty of power up and down that lineup. Need a little bit more balance, so I would have liked that myself. All right.